Very nice to meet you, Michael.
Likewise.
Just for you to know, this is my second interview ever.
Really?
Regarding filmmaking. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. You're obviously a fan of the medium, as you love Late Night with Seth Meyers.
I was there actually. He threw the.
Oh, really?
The hat. Yeah, I went to New York. So amazing.
Oh, fantastic.
But you're from Australia, right?
I am, yes, from Melbourne, Australia.
And as for example, I was telling you before that I also had a talk with Chris Tuckman, that he came from YouTube. I think different scenario because you also came from YouTube.
Yeah.
But not exactly as a film critic, right? You have been doing short films and other stuff.
Yeah, correct. I sort of cut my teeth making online content for initially a video game magazine called The Escapist. And then I started making stuff on YouTube. It was sort of comedy sketches and then short films and music videos. But even when I was making comedy sketches, I always tried to make them look really cinematic. It was more... usually there was no dialogue. It was more about kind of exploring like a cinematic convention, like a cinematic technique, and kind of making a joke out of it. Like, and each sketch was a way to kind of explore ways of like, oh, if this one's a Western, I get to kind of film it like how I'd film a Western, and that was sort of how I learned how to really kind of move a camera.
But
and that
kind
sort
of like, Corridor Digital?
I do, yeah.
Something like this, no? Maybe, but more elaborated. No, they do also elaborate.
No, definitely sort of was in the same campus. I've met those guys a couple. They're lovely guys.
Nice,
yeah. They are very much kind of doing similar things because they were also doing like I was doing very similar things to them, far less successfully.
And I saw also that in the short films before doing the interview with you, I watched the 3 short films that you did,
nice.
just to have an idea. And I saw that, for example, one of them is more like science fiction. Another one was more like also like horror. I see that some topics can be seen in together. Not so much the science fiction, a little bit, not the extraterrestrial, a little bit, without spoiling. And so, how is your background connected with this work, with the CGI and short films regarding the movie?
It's interesting. I think that I've been essentially working as a filmmaker for 17 years now, and so I'm bringing to this project everything I've learned about how to direct, how to move the camera, how to tell a story visually as well as in dialogue. But this is a film I couldn't have made 10 years ago. I think I needed to be the age that I was when I wrote it to kind of write something that was willing to be as vulnerable as this is, because a lot of this film is kind of about my personal life, and even though it's funny and it's a good time, there is I think if I'd tried to make something like this 10 years ago, it would have been a lot more sarcastic, because I was a lot more insecure, and so I kind of shielded everything behind being comedic. And whilst there's a lot of comedy in this film, it still is it's a very emotional story for me. It's really kind of the story of my relationship and my kind of feelings about kind of committing and kind of falling fully in love with somebody.
I actually, when I was watching the movie, I realized that mostly at the beginning, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, for example, the Alison Brie character was talking more in plural, and James Franco was talking more in like by himself, like, I have to do this, I have to focus on this, and she was talking like as a couple.
For us, Yeah,
so I was expecting, like, for example, the rest of the movie, that the situation will change. But it's not only that change and then Dave Franco has a different scenario. It's like it's changing all the time because of the situation, because of the entity or the thing that happens to him.
I think that, as a jumping off point for these characters, I sort of... The Tim character was the first one that I sort of was able to kind of fill with more specifics, because he's very much based on a lot of elements of myself. He's kind of a self-deprecating version of me. He's like everything I was worried I am as a partner. Like he's sort of focused on himself. He sort of aspires to be like this famous rock guy, which I certainly wanted to be. But therefore, he is a character that is... his aspirations are inward. He wants to be in a band. He wants to be kind of famous. He wants to take the risks. And she, on the other hand, I thought as a contrast, should be somebody whose views are sort of external. She has a job where she is
stable, no? She has a more stability because
more
of the
stable,
job and everything.
Where she doesn't need to be the star. She's in it for more altruistic reasons. She's there to help children.
She sees even herself more as an adult than she sees himself. No, in one point he says like, "You're 35 years old and you're still trying to be an artist," or something like this.
Yeah, exactly. And again, this all comes from a place of who I was worried that I was going to be. Like I said, I've been working as a filmmaker since I was 17, but it hasn't. Before this film came out, there were several years where I'd sort of reached what I felt was like the ceiling, and I couldn't kind of I couldn't get to the next step, and I felt as though, am I that guy that everybody talks about behind his back, saying like, this guy still thinks he's going to be a filmmaker? How embarrassing is that? As I'm like, approaching the end of my 20s and then to my sort of mid 30s. So Tim was kind of that character of somebody who maybe should be mature enough to throw away their kind of teenage delusions and realize that there's more to life than being fixated on what you wanted to do when you were 16 years old.
Part of this trauma also, as far as I can see, came from his childhood. We could see like the story about the rats. His parents. About his parents, do you think like the quote like sins of the father, do you think this relationship and the situation between his father and his mother affects him in the way he sees his relationship with his partner? Yeah,
definitely. I think that the sad way in which he lost his father and how that made his mum kind of go crazy, he's essentially seen what's happened to a relationship where they were so intertwined that when one of them died, the other one couldn't exist as an individual because they were so intertwined, so embedded in this relationship. So that was a way of kind of
make him more
informing,
pushy, no?
that wanting to fully commit would be so hard for him because he's experienced that trauma.
That's the first scene in the party, like when she do the thing, that he's like, oh shit, here we go.
Well, no, I was researching about the thing that happened to his parents is something that has happened before, whereby somebody has died and their partner just keeps them in the bed and doesn't tell anybody and sort of has lived with their corpse.
It was super creepy. I have to say that scene, like that whole plot was super creepy. Of course, you have also a lot of creepy stuff we can see here in the poster. I know that everybody is asking you this, but I'm not so interested in the CGI. That I know much that you did part of it. If I'm
I did a lot of the visual effects shots in the film because we just didn't have enough budget to do them otherwise. And like, luckily, I have a visual effects background, so it didn't cost us any money, and because otherwise I would have had to cut those shots, those sequences.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot, and of course you have these two big guys. It's amazing that you have been able to work with them and with Neon. Congratulations on that.
No, very lucky. They were amazing to work with.
They have this background also in comedy, and you can feel it. And the chemistry, of course, they are a couple, but the chemistry also in comedy is super good. Not only the horror. I think you nailed it there.
Yeah, they were perfect for that. They can obviously go to the extreme emotional places of the horror and the drama, but obviously, they're both incredible at comedy, and so when the film calls for it,
very intelligent to use the comedy as horror, because sometimes you just laugh because of you feel uncomfortable of the situation, like the bathroom.
The bathroom scene is
super funny, but also super uncomfortable.
Yeah, I love cringe comedy. My favorite show of all time is maybe Peep Show, the UK show, and there's scenes in this that really are informed by things like Peep Show and the UK Office. Like, I love comedy that makes you wince. The proposal scene in the beginning is super uncomfortable. And then that bathroom scene is, I love it. I love watching that with an audience. It gets such a reaction.
It was fun. For me, it was one of the best. The last one? Okay, I'm going to try to do two at the same time. Regarding the CGI, you said that you work on it and it's very impressive, but I see also a lot of physical techniques, like a lot of physical effects that work very well. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Absolutely. And to clarify, I did a lot of the VFX shots, but none of the really good stuff. The really good stuff is what we put all the money into. And then I did all the I could never do the amazing CGI stuff that Framestore and other people did on the film. But we also had a lot of practical effects. Aside from the two big scenes of real transformation, all the effects were practically based. And that was amazing because I have a VFX background, as said, so I kind of understand at least fundamentally how a lot of visual effects are done. Even stuff that I couldn't do, I kind of understand how they work. But practical effects is something I know nothing about, so it was so amazing to actually get to work with that stuff. I got myself turned into a practical effect in the film because I play the one of the missing hikers who has to get turned into the So it was great. I could have a cameo, or I don't have to do any acting.
You were the thing.
Yeah. So that thing is worn by a female performer, but it's my head hanging off the side.
The situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Super cool.
So that was fun. It's just amazing what our practical guy called Larry Van Donovan. He did also bring her back and talk to me. He's the guy in Australia that you get to do the stuff, and his work is amazing.
Super good. And before they realize, thanks again. I was thinking that the movie was going to be super body horror, super explicit, but you keep it a little bit contained. Are you going to work on this? Are you going to explore it more in future films, or do you just wanted to make it more accessible for in a commercial use? And what are your expectations for the future?
I wasn't really conscious of making it accessible or not. I just kind of just wrote it how I felt, which was to put as many kind of body horror sequences as I think the film could handle and needed. But I didn't just want it to be. It's not just about the body horror, because the film is really about a relationship, and so I had to make sure that hopefully if you pulled all the horror out of it, that it would still work as a romantic drama, romantic comedy. And so I think putting in any more would have just been, we might have just lost sense of the character.
And in the future, you want to explore more of that? Or
I don't know. I mean, the next film I'm making is a sort of a sci-fi thriller, and it's got a little bit of kind of body stuff in it, but not really. I kind of thought, this was informed by the premise, and once I had the idea of the premise, I thought, oh, that's a body horror movie. Luckily, I like body horror, let's go. And I love the idea of being able to explore different genres as I go on, but I think I'll only ever work as a genre filmmaker, because that's the stuff that I get really excited by.
Super cool. I give you the best wishes and congratulations on the movie.
Thank you.
I hope you have an amazing career like now with Neon or something else.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Thank you so much. And congratulations on your second film interview.
I'm pulling my pants right now. You cannot see, but I'm brown now.
Yeah, I can smell.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.